Here we go.
So that looks like one London Mulligan from Jakub, who fetches a Verdant Catacomb
Yes.
to play a what's this guy's Blood Chief? No,
Ooh,
no, no.
champion. Something with Bloodsoak champion? Bloodsoak champion.
Bloodsoak Champion. Yep.
I guess that's what it is.
Seems I find it funny that they had like three, not three sets in a row, but for like a while every year there'd be a 2/1 black creature rare that somehow got itself back on the battlefield, and they've stopped doing that for the last couple of years.
Right. I
There's
really like the raid ability. It's an interesting one. I
yeah, yeah.
think so. This one was from this guy's coming from Khans, and I guess the last time we saw that was in Ixalan.
No,
There was
the raid
definitely.
ability is the Mardu. It's just Mardu, I
There
think.
were some cards that were worded in a way as like it could have been worded as raid. Like the ability was exactly the same. For example, there is this for 2 mana this draw spell, and it says you either draw 2 cards, discard 1, or you draw 2 cards in if you attack with a creature this turn. So there were many cards worded that way that had an additional ability if you attacked with a creature this turn.
You are correct. The raid ability is in Ixalan and keyworded as raid.
Okay, even
Yep.
keyworded. Okay.
Yep.
So there's a Ragavan. The little monkey strikes back. Yeah,
Powerful card.
that's definitely a card. Even if it's not a wizard, you don't want to miss out on it. So I'm not sure how did the Scarab Feast got into Jakob's graveyard. Mm, there's a lava dart? Yes.
It's a good card.
But how did he play it? I mean, he
I think
played 2 mana for the Ragavan.
if he dealt damage with it, he could have sacked the treasure.
Ah, no, he got the treasure. Right.
Yep.
Completely forgot about the treasure.
Yep.
Never
I'm just
mind.
a little confused how the Scarab Feast got into the graveyard.
Welcome, Baal. Yeah, me as well. It doesn't make a lot of sense to cycle without playing Asmo, I think.
And I don't think he ever had the
He
mana to
casted it.
Oh, he's missed a land drop. Okay, we have been.
So he cycled it, you mean, instead of casting it.
Okay.
All right, I see.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's a common problem you have from time to time with Asmo. I mean, the deck doesn't play that many lands. On the other hand, those cycle spells, they act as if, yeah, like you would play a cantrip, and you shouldn't be too greedy on your starting hands.
I mean,
From my experience,
Mulligan to 6 with 1 redraw doesn't seem that bad.
yeah. On the other hand, if you're on the play and you really have, okay, you have 2 draws to find your second land. It's not too bad.
Yep. And a 1-drop to play off of it, with as well as the. I'm just being thinking about information in play at the moment.
It's really funny how Ragavan is striking the 3rd time, and he is actually getting rid of all his lands. So he exiled a swamp, mountain, and a polluted delta, I guess.
Yeah.
Or verdant catacombs, one of both.
Well, the Verdant Catacombs fetched.
Okay, and there's a flame slash, and again, get rid of your creature. Although you can return it, you have to exile cards from your graveyard.
I feel like that might have been a bit greedy, that Flame Slash.
Yeah, maybe, but on the other hand, I mean, he's putting Jakob in a position that he's playing not really the best spells, or like he can't really do anything else. And I think the Adeliz player knows that, because the both creatures he had on the battlefield can't block anyways. That's why his monkey is connecting all over again. And for the 4th time, he's playing the monkey. And there's another land.
But this is the reason that I wouldn't
Oof.
have
And
killed.
there's a fiery confluence and a fire blast. Nice. Crazy.
Okay, fair enough.
Let's get back to that point. What did you say?
That's the reason I wouldn't have killed the Scrounger at that point, simply because um, you don't have to kill it. You're at 16. Even if the Scrounger does start attacking, you're not in any trouble. And you want to keep pushing damage with the 1/1 and the 2/1. So keeping it to kill an Asmo or to kill a different blocker, I think would have been better.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, depends on the 3-drops Jakob is playing. Yeah, like, when I think about it, either it has haste, except if you play Anya's Revenger, which you probably don't, because that's a madness card. So I rather like to pitch it into some discard interaction. But maybe there's a Regisaur, which is not handled by Flame Sledge on its own. I'm just thinking about how that could look like.
I mean, I don't think that changes the decision much, does it?
I mean, he was. There's the monkey on the other side. I mean, he was pretty much ahead already.
Yep.
So probably thought, okay, why not? Just get rid of your creature and.
Yep. So we've seen a bit of a better start here.
Yep. There's the monkey again. Our favorite monkey.
So I'm presuming it's getting shocked.
I expect the
what's
same.
What's that card on the bottom of his deck?
Oh, I didn't see that.
So some
red
dark
or blue?
art, red promo.
It was a red card with Searing Spear, maybe.
No, because it had one of those F&M promo frames.
There's playing with fire. That's the new one.
Oh, there we go. Haven't seen that one yet. Is that a footfall crater being cycled? Yep.
How's it called?
What card?
It's called Play with Fire, right? I think it's called Play with Fire. Yep. There we go. And Asmo is on the battlefield. He cycled a Footfall Crater. So attacking for 3. But I have to be honest, although he can play the cookbook now, and at some point he's able to produce some food tokens. Oh, there's a Spark Spray. That's great. That
is a good way to handle a Delver.
Yeah, and also, yeah, actually that's the case. I was just about to say that Adeliz's board is not bad either with 2 creatures, and if the Delver would have flipped, then he could put some pressure on the board.
Yeah. What's interesting in this matchup is with the foods produced by the cookbook, I think there's a lot of the Adeliz deck doesn't produce a lot of card advantage, and I feel like with this on the play, Asmo out quickly, cookbook and play start, there's going to be a lot of value generated by the Asmo deck that the Adeliz deck won't be able to.
That's insane. There's a Mind Collapse.
That's strong.
That's insane.
So Monastery Mentor isn't a wizard.
No, right? But it gets prowess.
So we have
It's a
a swing
human
for
wonk.
5.
Yeah.
A human
That's
what?
a human monk.
Oh, I thought you said wonk.
No. I don't know that creature type. Okay, he creates a food end of turn. That's alright. Quite interesting to see the Izzet deck with that many free spells. Yeah, Mind Collapse is, I think it's a great card in the current meta. 5 damage to target Planeswalker is pretty relevant. When there are a lot of Aminatou and Tevesh around.
I think it's just a bit. I mean, under the assumption that that Adeliz survives here, seems okay. Just if it doesn't, it's kind of.
It doesn't, because you have, yeah, it does not. That's for sure. He would have to have a daze. That's the usual interaction here. He has 3 mana and produces.
So now he's 3 lands away from ever casting as commander again.
Right.
Just seems like now the tempo's been got.
And there's Laelia. Another great card. Another great card. And a powerful one.
Oh, we've got a bolt being clicked. Right? No, that bolt went into exile. Who got clicked?
He clicked himself. Why is it gone? Ah, he blocked Laelia. Yeah.
Yep.
Fair enough. Seems that... Yeah, he clicked himself, it seems. Put down a Mystic. Yeah, that's not possible because it needs to be a non-land card. Oh darn. It's not gonna happen. Didn't click. So now the
RTFQ situation. Oh no, not Q. RTFC.
Introduce our viewers to the term, probably.
Pardon?
I said you should introduce our viewers to the term, probably.
Oh, RTFC stands for read the fucking card. So, as the term implies, we've got.
Yeah, the thing is that
it's easy to lose track of abilities like that. Sometimes it's worded on land, sometimes it's not.
Right.
Clicker is one of those cards that anyone who's playing it should be quite and playing against it should be quite familiar with what it does, because there's a lot of room for doing stuff with it.
So now we have a frozen stream, but I would expect the Adeliz player to get a warning here.
I am not sure. They are usually a bit less firm with those types of things in Prague, but we'll see.
Yeah, we will. But the stream is currently not very fluent. Maybe they have some connection problems. Yes, it seems they have. We had that earlier as well when we set up the stream. I can hear it, but I can't see anything on the screen. Ah, there we go, we're back.
So, what have we got? We've got a shuffling of the deck because the Misty's been cracked, I'm guessing.
Yes, and there's a seasoned pyromancer. Yeah, and now he scoops. We like to call that Muggy Mage. There's a there's a German flavoring liquid that's called Muggy, and some people like to, for example, the Croatian guys, they put some Vegeta into everything they have for dinner, lunch, or whatever, all their dishes, and the German guys don't really do the same with Muggy, at least not our generation, I think, but back in the days that was a thing. Grandmas and grandpas used to do that, so
yes,
this guy's the Muggy Mage.
The all-in plan in Duel Commander is always a little bit... can go both ways, can backfire quite easily.
Yes. Oh, that's a bummer.
Oh, starting with a tapped land and that
Yeah,
kind of deck is
that's rough.
not that great.
There's a Ponder. He's probably searching for a second land, and there is it. There's the Bloodstained Mire.
Did we see any mulligans, or is it really
I
clicky
haven't
rule?
noticed any. So is that an opt on his hand, or is it a consider? Could also be a consider, right? Can't figure it out. It's a daze and a burst lightning, I guess. Apart from that, I can't really figure out any cards. And there's an Ash Barrens. And there's an Asmo, and now he's going to fetch for a Volcanic, probably playing his cantrip and then dazing the Asmo, because that also prevents Jakob from getting the cookbook. So unless he has Street Rave to discard, the earliest turn in which he's able to recast Asmo will be turn 4. And not allowing your opponent to access the cookbook is quite good.
I mean, the cookbook will be there by turn 4 with the saga anyway, so...
he has a saga on, but yeah, I missed that one. Yeah. That's right. So there's a daze, and it seems he does not have an instant speed.
But also, picking up your Volcanic Island to play a daze also seems like it's okay, but it's...
Well, maybe he wants to have double red. That's not... I can understand that. But he doesn't do anything with the mana. That's something that disturbs me a bit. What is that card?
Oh, I don't know that card.
We have to figure it out. It has a flip.
This is a flip wizard.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be on the deck if it wasn't a wizard.
I do think so as well.
It is a wizard. I don't know how to filter for cards that are double-sided on.
If you isn't there like a Scryfall filter that you can type is MDFC? Isn't it like? I think it's an MDFC as well.
I think I'll filter for the new set.
So there's an expressive iteration. which is quite good in this situation because, yeah, if he's in a good spot, then he can find a land and maybe a 1-drop to play. He has a Zergo and an island. That's unfortunate.
It is a card called Flame Channeler. I will link it to you.
Curious about it.
When a spell you control deals damage, transform it.
The interesting question
strong.
is, what does the backside do? Oh, it's a new one. Aha, Flame Channel.
Yep.
So let's transform it. Ah, it's this one. I remember it. Yeah, I think they debated about it in the on the French server. Like if this card is a fit in Red Deck Wins, for example, and there are 2 constructs on the battlefield now. And as you expected, as you said, there is the cookbook.
Which already makes them 3/3s. And as soon as he pitches a card, he'll get to 4/4s.
I was just checking, like, I thought it was like daybound and nightbound because now Jakob didn't play a single spell. Might change. Oh, there's a Bone Shard. Discarding Skyfire Phoenix to get rid of the creature. And there's a Spell Pierce. That's amazing. That's amazing.
But Phoenix in the graveyard means we've got a devil in hand.
So he has a devil, the Daredevil loop.
This is looking very promising for Jakob.
So whenever an artifact enters the battlefield, you can return it from your graveyard. So no, I really want to know what's that card. Is it a bounce? Is it a new bounce with Scry 1? You have to check that, Kinky.
Yes.
I think it's a new unsummon with Scry 1. The question is, what is he going to do? Is he going to fire the burst lightning into his face to have a 3/3? The construct is already
Fading Hope. Yep. Return a creature, and if its mana value was 3 or less, scry 1. Which it was in this case.
beautiful artwork.
Yep. Absolutely.
And this guy, yeah, the player is quite seems to be quite frustrated about the board state, and I can imagine that. I mean, he has to find a solution for the cookbook. There is a Skyfire Phoenix waiting for Asmo to be cast. The cookbook is on field, which means next turn there will be an Asmo cast, and even if Asmo is countered, he will still get the Phoenix and apply some pressure. And there's another food token, so there will be a 4/4 construct. Now he's playing a lightning skelemental. Okay. You could do that. The question now is, are you going to... He decided to burn his face to flip the card. Okay, that was my question. So it's a 3/3, and it gets a flame counter. You can remove a flame counter. Exile top card, you may play that card this turn. Interesting. Okay.
Oh, they're not quite keeping track of life totals for us, but that was a swing for 5 plus 2 damage from the burst lightning, right?
Right. The 2 damage from a burst lightning is on. He's on 18, but now he should be on.
I think it was I think he was on 18 before that.
13, and now he realizes. Okay, okay, you said so. There's a Ragavan, a normal cast, Asmo cast, as well as a Skyfire Phoenix cast. Okay.
Rigger.
There's an Incinerate. So he calls the judge, I guess. And keep in mind the opponent. The opponent. Who is the opponent? Adeliz still has a Flame Slash in hand. But there's also Ragavan. You need to take care of the Construct token at some point. So it's very tricky here.
Yep, definitely.
I think the Lightning Elemental, is it called like this? It's not called Lightning Elemental. You know, the card with haste.
Yes, it's a 2/2 with. I don't think we need to put that card up. It's a 2/2 with haste and flying.
Yes, that one is a wizard, right?
Yes, it is.
So what's the decision here? Oh, of course. It's getting close and the stream is frozen again. Lightning Stormkin, right. Thank you very much. It was something with lightning. There we go, guys. So we're back. And it seems that he traded Asmo with the 3/3 and decided to Flame Slash. Which card? Flame Slash Asmo, probably.
Flame Slash Asmo.
Does that make sense?
And the 3/3 died to Bone Shards at some point?
No, Bone Shards was countered way earlier with a Spell Pierce.
True.
So now there's a monkey coming in and he baits with the Construct. But Jakob can just discard a Daredevil, make another food token, and then the Construct token is a 3/3 again. So yeah, I think that's alright. He's going to discard the Daredevil again for a food token. And thereby getting 3 damage. Interesting. Like the Phoenix is on board in order to keep Adeliz in check. And yeah, that's what you said a few minutes ago, that Adeliz really has trouble getting some card advantage.
Yep.
Once you put down all your threats and your opponent is able to handle them, you have a rough time. And I mean, the Flip Wizard he played was that kind of card advantage engine, but it's gone. And that's a bit unfortunate that the stream is frozen again. They seem to have connection problems. So there's a Brazen Borrow, a Petty Theft for the Regisaur. The question I ask myself, what is the other card, the small one?
Which small? Oh, the one in the middle?
Yes.
That is hard to tell.
Yeah, very hard.
Seems like a new card.
I would expect that as well. Searing
Like
Spear.
a vampire of some sort.
Who's going to get Searing Spirit? Probably his face? That's his only card in hand, right?
It is a... I will link it to you. That guy.
Aye, aye, aye. So that's a new one, yeah?
Yep. Seems pretty okay though. 2-1 for 1. That
Oof.
turn 3 can cast Asmo and draw you 2 cards.
I wouldn't play it. It's way too slow.
I guess.
But it fits the strategy Jakob is following with Asmo, since he plays a lot of seems to 1 and seems to 2 creatures.
Yep.
Like he tries to provide a more aggressive game plan instead of being too much dependent on the discard synergy or
Yep.
graveyard synergy. So that's fine. It fits his game plan, yes.
So far my impression has been that of playing against you, playing Asmo, that the game plan is so hard to disrupt,
Yeah.
the Asmo game plan, that you don't actually, that you can go so deep into discarding cards and madness and stuff, because
Right.
the games where your cookbook gets destroyed early, seems there doesn't seem to be a lot of those, and like it's very easy to get on the board
You don't
with this.
necessarily need any external discard outlets because, as you said, there are a few situations in which it really sucks to get rid of the book. For example, if your opponent has a Force of Negation in early game.
Yep.
Okay, it is how it is. The deck is able to win without it anyways. It just makes your creature based matchup a bit worse, and those tend to not have interaction for the cookbook unless you play against green and they have a Rex Age or Knight of Autumn or something similar, Masked Vandal, whatever.
One thing that I am curious about um, is I saw a list with the 1 mana 3/2 that exiles the top card of your graveyard during the upkeep, or it sacrifices itself and it can discard itself. Do you play that in your list?
Wait, can you
An
repeat that, please?
old card. It's quite an old card. Wait, I'll have a look if I can find it.
Yeah, I think the matchup is pretty much done. The Daredevil is insane here. It really does the job. And the Adeliz player can't really do anything about that. Yeah, he can just... Yes, that's it. 2-1 for Asmo. Do we know what's the right side?
Looks like Asmo to me. It's on the deck box.
No, it's Grenzo. It's not Asmo.
Oh, it's old boarded. I didn't know there was
Yeah,
an old
so
boarded
that's
Grenzo.
Washta actually, I guess. Amazing. Cool. So, yeah, I said we have Asmo and we have Jakub with Asmo in top 16 for sure, and Washta with Grenzo, and we get to see both decks. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all know that we had Washta on the channel once. I did a co-op piloting with him playing Grenzo against Aminatou, I guess. I'm not sure about that. I think it was Aminatou. And that was quite interesting. The Goblin deck is very underestimated and quite difficult to play because there are a lot of lines. It also has some combo lines with Help Me Out, Murderous Redcap, and like that one, that's an older line. It's the Mimic, how's it called? The Shapeshifter. Like, for example, you have a Sacrifice outlet.
Metallic Mimic.
Metallic Mimic, exactly. That's what I was searching for. So you have a Sacrifice outlet like Goblin Bombardment, for example, or a Goblin that sacrifices, like a Goblin Chirurgeon or something like this. And the Murderous Redcap always deals 2 damage on ETB, or damage equal to his power. And it has Persist, so the +1/+1 counter is equalizing or neutralizing the Persist counter, and you can deal infinite damage to your opponent. Some more complicated lines are enabled by casting the Goblin Recruiter. You search for a specific pile, including the Conspicuous Snoop.
Yep, and then you play it.
You play it, and you
or give it haste in some way, and then.
Well, you also win by. It depends on, there are different setups for that combo, but usually you ping your opponent, and because you have Fashalik in this pile. I hope no, I did not.
Who?
Is it like this? There, I got it. Pashalik Mons. So this boy is on a battlefield, and you have a lot of CMC1 cards on top of your library, and you can sacrifice them in Skirk Prospector, always gaining 1 red, and you pay the 1 red to pay the goblin from your top, sacrificing it, and you ping damage until you either finish with, oh, how's the card called? It's a goblin that gets +1/+0 for every time a red creature enters.
Foundry Street Denizen?
Foundry Street Denizen, that's correct. So I'll just quickly show the Conspicuous Snoop here. They're already in game.
I'm a bit confused about that line, but yes, it's on the battlefield right now.
I will explain it in the meanwhile. Yeah, there's a Foundry Street Denizen. There is a Goblin Sledder, I guess. So
and a Goblin Mob, is that what it's called?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on it, but it's a 2/2 for 1. No, it's a mock whatever. Mock blah blah blah.
And there's a lot of goblin cards.
Definitely. So when either of those players win the game, I will explain it. And that's a new one as well from the new set, which is quite good. But from the last one, actually from Forgotten Realms. Now the stream is frozen again. That's not good. There's a beautiful Badlands on a battlefield. I think the card is called Mock Conscripts. And it's a 2/2, and you can't play it if you haven't played another creature spell this turn.
You can't attack with it.
Or you can't attack.
Cast a creature spell.
Right, right.
I'm linking it to you.
Mm,
But problematic for Grenzo at this moment is we've got 2 lands on the battlefield, so any sort of board wipe effect from the Yawgmoth player will likely wipe him out for the rest of the game.
right.
I think Yawgmoth plays toxic, right?
Oof. That's a throwback at the Asmo game, I guess. So this one is not the current. Uh-huh. It seems we're back. So the question was if Yawgmoth runs Toxic Deluge.
Yep. Yep.
Yep. I I I guess so. I would do that. It's interesting. There is an Ayara Lich Queen. Is it called like this? Let me check. First of Logswains. Excuse me. So this one is quite powerful. If you have some other creatures you can sack into Yawgmoth, you don't lose any life while your opponent is losing life.
Yep.
Typical aristocrats card.
Interesting that the conscripts can't attack in this case because there have been no spells cast, and I'm guessing it's a 3-mana card in hand. For the
It
Grenzo
could also
player.
be he has one card in hand. Maybe it's yeah.
Well, if it was a castable spell, he would have cast it to attack with the.
Right.
Considering
Right.
he's sacrificing creatures to this attack, I think it's quite unlikely that if he could, he would have attacked with the conscripts.
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind that he has the Grenzo ability still online, which can be relevant. And
Can being the keyword here, right? There's
sure, sure.
I personally have only seen Grenzo flip a creature once. Of maybe 10 activations that I've seen.
So instead, he
Which I
activates the
think was
goblin. We need to know which goblin that is. It's from the last set.
okay. I think I'll have a look.
And he sacrifices the mock conscript with the goblin sledder.
This was a slow draw from the Yawgmoth deck.
Voshman, what is the sleeve thing? It's quite simple. So there are some players that decide to sleeve their commander differently to not shuffle it in their library, but we have cards like Memory Labs and Jace the Mind Sculptor and whatsoever. So you just have the possibility to put the card on top of your library, and that's why it should represent the same sleeve or color as the rest of your deck.
Exactly, because if your library then gets shuffled,
Yeah,
that's no longer a zone change. So you're then in a situation where you have to call a judge, and if you don't have another sleeve, maybe unsleeve a card currently on the battlefield to make it fair, which is kind of which is a hassle that you shouldn't be going through, because in a for example um, we've had tournaments with non-commander judges. A lot of the tournaments that you have in Prague or France, um, the judges there are part of the community, um, and the tournaments we've had here so far have all been with judges that judge any other format other than Duel Commander usually, and you're never going to have a situation where you are ever allowed to have a card that's part of what you're playing be in a different sleeve than uh, what you currently have, right? Than what you're playing with, and there are enough edge cases in Duel Commander where I would never have commanders in a different sleeve. Dacer, I'm not sure what you mean with I think the zone position of the commander should always be visible. Um, of course it should, but when it's shuffled into your library, it shouldn't,
Exactly.
because that would be cheating. That would be playing with marked cards in your library.
And also, I mean, although the format itself is defined casually, we try to play it in the most competitive way. That's why those tournaments are happening. So that's just the nature of the game, I think.
Yep.
Of course, it's not the best thing to have. There's a goblin lackey, by the way. It's not the best thing to have your commander shuffle into your library, and in the middle of the game you realize, oh, my commander is not available because it's in the library, and then if you have a nice judge, he will just pull it out and randomize your deck again. If the judge is not so nice, he will give you a warning because you represented a illegal deck size.
I mean, something that I think that was the agreement with the judges at our tournament was if you have your commander shuffled into your library and you start the game, um, you can pull it out of your deck with one extra commander tax, which seems like one of the better solutions
Yeah,
to something like that happening.
and we just see a nice interaction, bone shards with discarding Bloodgast, and you just have to put a land on the battlefield instead of paying 2 black. He got rid of the
Yep.
goblin lackey. Yeah, bone shards is one of those cards that I've seen a lot of play recently.
I mean, it's a great card.
Yes,
Killing
definitely.
planeswalkers as well, trading 1 mana for a Tippish.
And we've said that some time ago, I guess, or when Wizards started to print CMC3 planeswalkers that come with 6 loyalty, like Oko or Royal Science, for example. Mm, the amount of appropriate interaction or adequate interaction wasn't was not
Yep.
there, actually. Like,
Yep.
they had to print some cards in order to deal with those powerful planeswalkers early.
Yep.
And
But it's kind of frustrating now where they're in a state where um, they seem to be explicitly against printing powerful planeswalkers. We've seen the new Teferi and basically all the new planeswalkers, even the Modern Horizons ones are good, but still, like if you compare Daikon to Ren and Six, you have vastly different power levels.
that's right.
And I mean, it's okay they're being cautious, but uh, then again, we're in a sort of privileged position where good cards that are printed into formats for um, for Dual Commander or Archon are not really a problem for us. Big, usually because we just have one of them to deal with in a 100 card deck.
Yeah.
But in singleton formats or standard, you have to be very careful because you can play 4 of everything.
So now there is an attack for 5. Yeah, the player's not really on 17 because he didn't get any life. Uh-huh.
It
There
seems
we go.
quite decidedly in the hands of the. Well, maybe not.
Oh, there's a Liliana, the Last Hope. That's a great card against goblins. All of them are very small,
Absolutely.
and they have most often 1 or 2 toughness, so you can roast a few of them. Yep, getting rid of the street denizen. I think this is going to be a tough matchup for the Grenzo player.
Yep. Especially because Yawgmoth gets on the board much better than a lot of other decks with like cards like Lasertap Reaver.
Correct.
Which makes it very difficult for the kind of 1/1s that Goblins plays to get through.
And we
Definitely a
see
difficult
the
matchup.
new land from Forgotten Realms.
It's
Which
the cave of some bear, right? I think that's.
Den of
I
the
read
Bad
the other
Bear.
day that it's in 51% of standard decks at the moment.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yep. But I mean, who plays standard?
But the thing is
Right.
that I mean, on a first look, it's very tempting to play the card, but first it's somehow a nerfed fast land, and second, it costs 4 mana plus you have to have the land in order to attack. So that the whole interaction costs 5 mana, which
Yep.
takes some time to enable it.
But I mean, you also have to consider, like, I think it's always different when you compare standard decks and our format, because we have things to do with our mana beyond 5, right? If they have
Sure.
we often have situations where we want 7 mana in play, and in standard, you're drawing 1 card a turn, and your top end is going to be at like 5 mana.
Of
So
course, it's a completely different case for standard.
yep.
That's not the question. I was rather talking about Duel Commander.
Yep.
Since, I mean, that's a Goblin tribal deck, of course, you can fit in the land. You don't have to worry about Wasteland anymore. There aren't that many land destroying abilities either. So, I guess for the worst case, you just include it, and at some point it might do the job. And also that's also the same for Red Deck Wins, for example. If you're playing Karizev and you're really in a top deck mode, there will be some situations in which you have to, or in which you're happy to have such a land.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I meant, Sign. But having a resource is better than having no resource, so I think that's pretty obvious. There's an Imperial Recruiter, and he's researched for the Goblin Recruiter. I think he cannot go off next turn, so the Yawgmoth player has 2 more turns, either to get Yawgmoth on board in order to get rid of the goblins, or finishing. Why is he not roasting the recruiter in advance if he has a blocker anyways? 9. Now I'm confused. Now it would be very interesting if the Yawgmoth player knows about the Grenzo, knows about the pile, about the combo. Because Imperial Recruiter doesn't add any value to the line. So the essential setup is, I hope I remember correctly.
I'm a little confused. So what are you implying?
Like, I didn't get why. Oh, there's a combination. Uh-huh. That changes circumstances. So what I said was that the Imperial Recruiter is on the battlefield, and he could have blocked either of those two creatures attacking. And first, I didn't get why the Yawgmoth player was not getting rid of the Imperial Recruiter to prevent the opponent from blocking a creature. And then the Grenzo player decided not to block, which I didn't get either because it does not contribute to the combo plan, because the Skirk Prospector says you have to sacrifice a goblin.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
That's why I was confused in several ways.
This is a bad situation for oh, maybe the Mutavault changes things so he can attack. He can kill the Lily and attack for 2.
Correct. I think he doesn't win the backswing, to be honest. Or the Goblin Piledriver gets +2 plus... maybe he does. Gets +2 +0 for each other attacking creature, I guess. So that's 5. That's 9 damage.
He can't attack with the conscripts.
That's correct.
Can't attack with the monk.
And he needs to attack with... Why is he attacking with both cards? That's not the case, right? Yeah.
Well, no, he has to attack. But he can attack the opponent for 2 with the Mutavault and kill the Liliana with the Piledriver. So he did everything right there.
And there's the land top deck to get back the Bloodghast.
That was lucky.
That was lucky. Definitely.
But or expected. It's kind of either way, right? It might have been an early concession. He got attacked for 5 when he was at 9, so he was at 4, so he had 1 turn.
So the Yawgmoth player is taking a mulligan, and I will explain the combo very quickly. So you have this goblin that creates a treasure on die trigger. We were starting with 4 mana. We pay 2 for the Snoop, then we pay another 1 for the Prospector, and we pay another 1 for the goblin that creates a treasure. And the next card on top is the Goblin War Marshal. It's called, I guess.
Makes 3 goblins basically.
So exactly, you sacrifice the goblin, then you have the treasure token plus 1 red mana in pool. You play the marshal, so you have 3 mana, and the next card is Fashalik. Was it like that? Or maybe I missed something? Pashalik, exactly. The one that pings damage whenever you whenever a creature dies. And I'm pretty sure I missed one thing because you have to have 1 more mana.
I guess you sack the recruiter.
You can't sack you can sack the goblin recruiter. Exactly. Yeah, it depends on how many goblins you have on board as well. Right. So let's say you sacrifice the recruiter and then you stack the rest of your top. Like that's a very simple one with like 15 to 16 1-drop goblins. So you play them, sacrifice them, play through your whole library. Voshta is showing his starting hand, which is very nice. And then you have like 16 damage deal to the opponent, and your final line is having the lieutenant on top, which again drains the opponent for another 4 with the other goblins you have on field.
Oh, because you can activate its ability. Yep.
Like the Snoop has the activated ability.
Exactly.
Yep. I'm talking about this lieutenant here.
Yep. There we go.
And while setting up this pile, there are combinations with the Foundry Street Denizen and help me out, the goblin that gives, I think has haste, and it has a triggered ability when you attack with 3 or more creatures.
Yes.
It gives tokens.
I know the card.
It gives like First Strike and Trample or something like this.
I'm looking, and creatures can't be blocked by creature tokens.
Exactly.
Legion Loyalist.
Legion Loyalist. Thank you. That was the card. So there are some piles. I don't remember all of them anymore. I have played the deck for some games, but was not really diving into it that much.
I love that card. Legion Loyalist.
It's cool, super cool. But you're
Gatecrash was
biased
the
because
first.
you have the signed card. That's why you're biased. Admit it.
Gatecrash was the first set that I bought boosters of.
Oh, cool. And there's a
So
Sparksmith. That's insane. This card is really good against creature-based decks. Although it deals damage to you. Oh, there's a turn to Yawgmoth.
Yawgmoth with a Dark Ritual.
That's impressive. But if Voshta has another CMC1 goblin, which it seems he does not, he can easily get rid of Yawgmoth. On the other hand, if the Yawgmoth player is able to lay down a creature, which is quite...
The Sparksmith is gone.
Exactly.
Yep.
And
which is quite likely here.
Yeah, very likely. There's a Mutavault and there is this Undying creature. The Ghoul, I'm curious if he plays the Ghoul, he might also play the combo.
Yeah, this is a very big swing and tempo for the Yawgmoth
Ghoul.
player.
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah, and I think he's sacrificing him again to get rid of the battle goblin as well. Could that be the case? I think so.
As we have a judge on the table trying to explain the rules here, so because Voshtik can activate the Sparksmith to kill the returning ghoul, based on the way that those triggers work. So he sacks it to Yawgmoth, it goes and comes back before the Yawgmoth resolves, so he can kill the Butcher Ghoul. And I don't think the Yawgmoth player was quite aware of that.
But how does that change circumstances?
Well, it changes circumstances because the Butcher Ghoul would be in play as a 2/2 right now.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Grenzo being able to shoot it down, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't make a difference. I mean, either he has a 2/2 creature on board, and then he can block and get rid of the other card, or he just, in response to the Sparksmith, is forced to sacrifice it and put another -1/-1 counter.
That's what he's done, but that's better for Voshtik, right?
Yes, because he not necessarily, because he can't really push an attack through without the Sparksmith.
Well, the Sparksmith was gone anyway.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Based on the first activation.
Exactly.
But Grenzo wanted to activate the Sparksmith before it died.
You mean because now I got it. Okay, the triggered ability appears first, and then
it's sacrificed. Butcher Ghoul returns to the battlefield, and then Sparksmith gets to kill it, or gets to attempt to kill it before.
I got that now. Okay, I was thinking about something different, and we have a problem with the stream, which is a bit unfortunate.
Cernif, I agree. That's not a rule in multiplayer Commander. You don't need a way to identify a card as a commander.
And multiplayer Commander is definitely casual, so it doesn't matter at all.
But even if there was tournaments for it, You don't need a way to identify the commander that is visible in the deck.
So
A
I
commander
will...
card is a commander card based on it starting in the command zone. And that's a property that um, that is rules-based, not physical.
So we have a black screen while the stream is working. Maybe they have disconnected. I hear the sound, but I don't see anything. Okay.
It's you should reload the page. It's working on my end.
Okay. Let's do that. Ah, there we go. So there's a huge board for the Yawgmoth player suddenly.
Yep. I think this is going to be very difficult.
Yep, and there's the new card from the recent set that brings a Decade zombie whenever you don't have a zombie on the battlefield, which is
That's very good. Yep.
yeah. How's this card called?
Wait. I will find it. Interesting point for the Grenzo player here. He has only mountains in play.
Yes, that's very unfortunate.
Jadar. I'll link it to you.
Bless you. Interesting card. Ghoul Caller of Nephalia. Yeah, if you control no creatures with Decade. Think there aren't any other creatures except zombie tokens? I'm not
I think
sure
it's
about that.
just zombie tokens that get decayed. Well, I can have a look.
Yeah.
I think decayed is a little bit of a weird mechanic, but
Right.
I definitely appreciate.
So he shows a gemstone cavern and then he's dead to the next attack. So that's a 2-1 for the Yawgmoth player. And
We have an
seems to be
unsummon. Wait,
a
we have the same
joke. I mean,
matchup
yeah.
again.
Yeah.
We have two Adelises, but this time Adeliz is starting with a Goblin Guide, which is a powerful card.
I think Asmo is starting with a Goblin Guide, right?
No. Adeliz player has a Goblin Guide in hand. I'm not sure why he's cycling the Footfall Craters now, with a Footfall Crater,
Yeah, me neither.
or maybe he isn't, and maybe he has a 0 mana cycler in hand and showed the wrong card.
No, there's the cookbook in hand.
Ah, the cookbook in hand. Yep.
So there's an unsummon. Wow, is that really necessary?
I mean,
There,
now there's two cards that are objectively better than unsummon.
right.
Well, there's three. There's three. There's the one that bounces enchantments as well. There's the one that scries for CMC 3 or less. And there is what's it called?
The new one.
Vapor Snag.
There's Viper Snake and there's the new one that cries.
Yeah, that's the one that I just said.
You said, okay.
So we've got potentially the deck is playing 4 enchantments, which seems like a lot. And he hasn't played the Goblin Guide on turn 1, which either means that he doesn't have untapped red mana, or
He's just playing blue magic. So he kept the hand with
yep.
a Delver and only blue.
And no, yeah, okay.
Interesting.
Oops. Yeah, no blocks from the Delver player, that makes sense. Looting. I haven't seen that card cast in ages. Great card, but... Ooh, they bumped the camera a bit.
It's yeah,
Now
that's
we're
right.
off center. Please, please, right, Martin, it's off center. This is very triggering.
I'll do so.
Thank you. We've got a Reggie and a Lily pitch. I guess we're looking for lands. And seems like we haven't found one. Another cycle. Ooh, stuck on 2 lands. This is...
Without access to red, that's quite annoying.
The Delver flips within the next few turns. I think we're still okay with a mana leak and a snap in hand. There's quite a lot that can be denied with that. But still. And the unsummon. Pitching.
I think what's quite interesting about Jakob's take on the deck is that the amount of creatures he plays that are returning from the graveyard
Yep.
by activating abilities makes it hard for control-ish decks to interact with it. Unless you get the opportunity to exile the graveyard or the creatures.
Yep, so we've got a 3rd land coming into play here.
There's another.
There's a loading screen.
Yep, for me.
It's not loading. Yeah, we've got an F in the chat. Yep. Seems to be gone for a bit.
I think they also have some connection problems.
Yeah, so Dread Wanderer, Gutter Bones, and what's it called? What was it called again? Blood Chief Marauder?
Bloodchief Champion.
Blood Chief Champion.
And we're back.
They seem like reasonable includes.
Finally, the Delver's flipping. And unless the opponent is not playing Stifle, which I guess he's not.
Gotta get Probe.
Yeah, he will just.
Well, no. Wait. What Stifle we do? Oh, you mean the roast with the foods? Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. Ooh, this is a powerful turn. He gets to pitch to put the vampire into play at the end of the turn.
And he has no. And there's the Mayhem Devil, by the way. Ah, okay. That's his hand,
I wonder.
actually.
Yep.
So he can.
We'll see how this plays out.
So the thing is that he doesn't really need to be greedy about sacrificing the foods. He can instead. He can take 3 damage by the Delver. And I would definitely wait until I get the Mayhem Devil on board. Because now you can discard the Priest into the book, cast it for Madness. Probably it won't resolve because the opponent has a bunch of counterspells on hand.
It looks like your stream is frozen. Is the stream itself frozen again? Nope. I think you can. You got to refresh your.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Oh, look. Or maybe it was frozen.
So he did not counter the Blood Priest. Interesting.
Well, no, he can't. He couldn't have countered the Blood Priest. He cast the Blood Priest with Snap on the stack. So he only had 1 mana.
Yeah, okay. And now there's the Mayhem Devil, and he really needs to counter that otherwise. But I don't like the decision to sacrifice the food tokens in order to get rid of the Delver. but well.
Why do you not like it?
I would have. Yeah. On the other hand, you can argue that the Mayhem Devil is never resolving, and then you can, with the Mayhem Devil, you push a bunch of damage if the food tokens are still on the battlefield, and you produce more food tokens.
Okay, so we've seen that he saw the hand, the Adeliz player's hand, right? Did he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How, I don't quite remember how right now, but he. Wait, how did he see his
No,
hand?
I think he did not see it. So.
No, he did. Okay, but um, I think he obviously sees that he's working with only blue, which means that um, that Delver was a valuable threat for him. So I think the decision was fine, especially if he could force the 4-3 through at that point, the Madness guy, which he did, right?
I think it's frozen again. It's a bit annoying. I'm sorry for that. I don't know. It should not have anything to do with my internet. Because we have a very,
I know
very
it
good
seems frozen
connection.
on their end.
Yeah.
I mean, they're underground. I don't think there's that much they can do.
Yeah, I mean, it's already impressive enough that they are able to run a stream in that location.
Yep.
Since, I mean, it's a restaurant. They're not used to have insanely good internet connection, right?
Oh, it's back on my end. Yep, we're back.
What for? There is even a bigger board. The Blood Priest is returned to hand with an unsummon.
Yep.
But
We have found the red mana.
to be honest, those are all pretty desperate moves. I
mean, we've got red mana unlocked, so
yeah.
it'll be interesting to see what the next move is. I just think that the 17 life total is out of reach at this point.
And there's another
Even
madness card.
even with the Grim, yeah, Anya's Ravager is powerful at this
It's
point.
like, I mean, he can. So he draws another card. He'll probably play a land if he's able to. If not, he can just. So let's see if he can drop a land. He should do that before attacking. Oh, that's also interesting.
What's interesting?
He drew an Aurelia.
I guess if we're going for lethal here, right, we can. Yep. Because he can roast one of the creatures,
But
and then he has 2/2/2s and a 3/3.
okay, the Bloodhole Priest
That's
is
unlocked.
dealing 2 damage and getting rid of a creature because at the point he's casting the Bloodhole Priest for madness. Oh no,
That's
the
incorrect.
ability resolves.
Ability resolves, then
Yeah,
the
right,
madness goes
right.
on the stack.
Yeah.
But anyway, he had a 2/3/3s and a 2/2 and the no 3/3/3s and a 2/2, and he can activate Asmo to kill one of the blockers, and then he has at least 7 damage going through.
Correct.
So that's lethal on board, right?
Correct.
So yeah, I think these decks have kind of precisely shown that Adeliz decks are quite a bit worse than Ludovic Chrome used to be.
Yeah, definitely.
And
I would even say today we've recorded a matchup featuring the Yui tempo deck that's currently played or discovered in France. I really like the deck, although the command zone looks pretty bad. I think that one is even better than Adeliz.
blue-white tempo. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Malcolm, in the end, isn't as bad as it seems. Of course, you have a 3-drop for like a 2/2 creature for 3. Once it connects and you produce some treasures, that can be quite good. Livio is not the best card for sure, but on the long run you can enable some value by flickering your creatures with ETB abilities. So yeah, and I think all the deck has similar problems in a way that you are not really able to set up a reliable card advantage engine. That's something the other deck. So is there a Force Spike? Seems to be an unsummon again. Oh Jesus, that unsummon.
Yep.
Okay, Malcolm. Yeah, Malcolm. Okay, let me get the card. There we go. So yeah, both decks are unable to get a reliable card advantage engine, but the Izzet deck is limited in interacting with a few cards. For example,
one thing that I think that is kind of problematic for those types of decks with the current dual commander format is that the worse the decks get in terms of like good commanders being available, the more mid-rangey decks get, and the less the worse shocks and lightning bolts get. So there's going to be a lot more creatures with 4 toughness, with a lot more hex-proof creatures, because we've just got more mid-rangey decks that kind of play, and then you can't shock an Asmo, you can't.
Sure.
There's quite a bit of interaction.
While on the other hand, the white removals for Azorius, for example,
have just been getting better, right?
Exactly. You have
we've got Portable Hole.
Yep. Which is not, and also Prismatic Ending, which is a good card. Although it exiles only CMC 2 or 1 or 0.
I think most games you'll find a target for that, and
so
especially against Tevesh, you have cards like Skull Clamp that you can easily remove with that.
Yeah.
I've got to take a quick break. I'll be back in like 5 minutes.
Sure. So we have a Mayhem Devil on board. There's a memory lapse. That's important. I think the players do not keep track of their life totals because the Adeliz player has attacked second time now. Now there's a True Nemesis. That's interesting. That can change the game. Because as far as I know, the Asmo deck shouldn't run any cards that are able to interact with TNN. Now there's another Mayhem Devil cast with a fetchland on board. Now it's getting a bit tricky here. Because if he attacks with both creatures, the opponent might probably trade Asmo, which costs 3 for another block. Cast, sorry. He discarded the Dark Ritual, okay. And if he does attack only with one creature, then it's definitely down to TNN. So the question is if he wants to deal some damage or not. And he's fetching for the Badlands. Let's see what he's going to play. Aha. And there's the first ping from Mayhem Devil. As I said earlier. This card is very useful in the deck. Doesn't make sense to attack with only one creature. Did he ping his face? I think he did not. I would have done that. That's a bit strange. And the Adeliz player has quite some cards. Interesting cards. A lot of interaction. There's a Brazen Borrow, there's an Unsummon. So he can play some magic. And the True Nemesis really brings a threat to the table for the Asmo player. Going to attack. There are 2 food tokens. I hope Jakob is not missing the Mayhem Devil interaction.
Back.
He does not miss it. Okay, 2 damage to his face. Now is the question. He passes a turn. Interesting.
Looks to me like it's pretty favored for the Adeliz player.
Yep. Yeah, the TNN really brings some trouble to the board. There's a Fire Blast. There is.
We could
Petty
see that would
Theft.
break the symmetry here is a Liliana from the Asmo player. That would really take him ahead.
I'm not sure if
That's
he's running it. I don't think
we
so.
saw it. We saw it earlier.
Okay.
Well, we saw it in against the other Adeliz player. He cast a Faithless Looting and discarded Reggie and Liliana.
Interesting.
And do you not run Lily in Asmo,
No, not at all.
Felix? No?
Not at all. I played Daretti, but that doesn't help
Okay,
against TNN.
that's true.
No, I think the deck is not. I don't want to say set up to play such cards, but they're just. It goes in a similar direction as with the manufacturer. Like they don't.
I guess.
They don't really support the usual game plan. Yeah, I mean the player could do much better. There's a Curse Catcher, there's a Burst Lightning. He could just bounce Asmo. He doesn't even have to do that.
I'm a bit confused with this play. I feel like
Same. Yeah.
I guess the opponent's at 13. He's got a he can Burst Lightning face. Maybe he's hoping he draws another mountain and can finish the game pretty quickly.
So there's a Colagans command
That's a good lineup.
targeting the Zergo.
So he's got to pitch the Fire Blast here. Oh wait, no, maybe no, I don't think he's returned a creature from hand.
He can't play the Fire Blast.
Yeah, that's why. But the Collar command surely discards.
Ah, yeah. But he keeps it. Okay, interesting.
Okay.
Interesting.
Does he have any top of library information? I don't think he
No,
does.
not at all. Not at all.
So he's
Maybe the Yeah, maybe the
Maybe he
thought
thinks the only way he has out of this game is to.
is
Oh,
by
this.
casting Adeliz and then get another
Yeah.
trigger, and that's 10 damage, I guess.
Well, no, he can't cast the Fire Blast for free at the moment.
Yes, if he
He
top
doesn't have
decks a
2 mountains.
mountain, he can cast Adeliz, and then he can swing for lethal.
Yes, that's true.
But it's very unlikely that Jakub is not playing Asmo now.
Yep,
Asmo is in
exactly.
graveyard, by the way. Uh, how did that
I
happen? He
think he has the
discarded it.
delves.
He discarded it. So Jakub should be on 10.
I think that was accidental.
Do you think so? I think he discarded it.
Well, no, I mean I think the accident was not putting it in command zone.
But it got bounced, not killed.
Well, no, he activated the cookbook end of turn last turn.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yes.
So he plays this one, returning Asmo. But why would he do that? He could have instead just paid 1 mana and played a Mayhem Devil as well. By discarding a card. He could have discarded the reanimation spell. Okay. Maybe, yeah. Oh, okay. I don't get that play, but well, seems that the Adeliz player has not. Oh, do you think that's a good one? I don't like that at all. I would have played this. I think he has drawn a snap. I would have snapped Asmo, and the stream is off again. So I would have snapped Asmo, play Adeliz, because without Asmo on board, the opponent cannot kill Adeliz and then deal 5 damage. So he goes down to
Yep.
5 and somehow forcing your opponent to cast Asmo again to get rid of Adeliz, and also to get off some pressure, because now Asmo is ready for attack and they're both on 7. And that's quite a problem.
And now
So
that's resolved. This.
yeah, that's not
So
a
he
good
has
play.
to block
That's
with the Curse Catcher here. We've got the snap coming through.
it's not a good play at all. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah, now he's dealing 2 damage to him. And he still has Asmo because he discarded the card and he could just play it for 1 again. And there's... I think he just... I don't like that.
Okay, so he takes 2. And so he goes to 3. And now you have to play Asmo, right?
Yeah, right.
Let's hope Jakub doesn't forget. Yep.
Never mind. He wanted to cast... okay, my fault, guys. He wanted to cast Brazen Borrow. That one is
Yeah,
still
sure,
available as well.
but he's at 1, right?
It doesn't matter. He's a 2. And Jakob doesn't
Oh no,
have
no,
any
no.
interaction. So
Well,
now
no. The player, the Adeliz player is at 3. 2 from the sack damage, and
Okay, interesting. So that's a close one here, in favor for the Adeliz player in the end.
yep.
I'm not sure if there
I feel like
were. I mean,
those games could have gone quite a bit differently.
yeah, definitely.
I think the
And
Aghanim's Awakening was a bit of a miscast.
yes, yeah, I just wanted to say I think there were some plays made that were not brilliant. But
Optimal.
on the other hand, they're playing top 8 or top 4. They have already played 7 matches, 8 already.
Yep.
So it's totally
I
fine
mean,
to do some mistakes.
I I was in this position, in this exact position, a few weeks ago, or a few months
Yeah,
ago now,
and then you made a major
and
mistake.
I fumbled both games. I could have won both. Oh no, I didn't fumble both games. The first game I lost to a gamble, and the second game I fumbled really hard.
Next time, hope you do better.
We'll see.
We will see.
I don't even. I'm still kind of a bit dissatisfied with the meta at the moment because it's just like I think
Crazy.
the best deck is Aminatou, and I don't want to play that deck, so kind of yeah, kind of puts me at odds.
Yeah, I agree to that. I mean, at some point you can pick it up, but I think there are much more interesting decks. I mean,
Well,
Aminatou is
more
definitely a
interesting,
deck.
definitely. I think just not necessarily more powerful.
Right.
Ooh, we've got a Ragavan turn 1. That's a card that a shock is very good for, so we'll see. We've got a Burst Lightning. Do I see that correctly?
Yeah, and there's a
Robe.
Fiery Temper.
We've got a Gamble. Guessing Gamble is a looks for something like Skyfire Phoenix. Do you play Gamble in your list?
Sure. It's
Yep.
and it enables super explosive turns.
Yep.
It's a really great card. I love it.
Starfire. Do you play Dragon Rage Channel?
Yes, absolutely.
And
That's
for
another
that,
great
do
card.
you play Tarfire?
No,
No,
I
that's
don't.
too deep. Okay. What is this card? Oh, this is a Street Wraith.
Yep, that's the new art from Time Spiral Remastered. There's a Galvanic Blast. It's also there. In this deck, I never had a situation which I do not play a bolt that does 4 damage,
Yeah.
which is quite great. Looks like the Adeliz players doesn't have a land drop. Is that correct? That would be
Ooh, I didn't
brutal.
see one in hand there, so
Phew.
oh, that might be a GG already.
I'm not too sure about that. Getting
I think
rid of the Lava Mancer. He has quite a good hand. But the Shivan Reef doesn't really help
no, it doesn't.
in terms of
He's
surviving.
he's gone to 16 right off the bat.
So, guys, are you still with us? We have 35 viewers, and visitors. So silent.
Is he pitching gamble? No. He's deciding whether or not to cast.
So great, the community is still in. And the best play he can make is casting
A
the
Delver,
Delver, which is true because Fiery
probably
Temper is
gets
CMC3 and he has 2 CMC1 cards in hand. And I think the Adeliz player has a Spell
oh, he's
Snare.
gone face with the
Still
temper.
hyped, so people are very. It's an exciting match here. I would have not expected the Adeliz player to turn around the second game, but
I mean, putting a true name on board is a good way uh, to make sure. Well, no, it's probably one of the best things you can do against Asmo, right?
what exactly?
Putting
Putting
a true name on
TNN.
board.
Yeah, right,
Yep.
right, right.
Yep.
TNN is a fair card. It is. It is. It dies to Golgari Charm. It's quite bad.
Interesting thought. For those of you who only play DC from watching now, we had a um, so in the Archon Discord, Duelcaster Mage was active quite a bit, attempting to get Proname Nemesis banned from Archon. So we had a vote and it didn't get banned, and I don't think he's typed a single message in chat since.
But that's because I think he's quite inactive overall. It's not really
Might be the case.
providing any content currently, which is a bit unfortunate, but on the other hand, there's no point in forcing yourself to play Magic. And now we have a frozen stream again, which is a bummer. So let's reload the page. In the meanwhile, that's always like funny. You take like a minute to refresh the stream and then suddenly something happens. The board is completely different.
Yep.
Yeah, like the life count is on 6. That's rough.
I think the Galvanic Blast went through, and an attack from Asmo, that's 7 damage. I think we're just about done here.
Yeah, there really needs to be something. He needs to bring down a card.
No land here, and
Paw,
no removal.
Is that the right? That's
only creatures to block.
Is that a good play? Oof. So there's a Kolaghan's command. Getting rid of the creature dealing 2 damage to you. And then he's down to 1.
Wait, dealing... What do you mean getting rid of the creature?
Yeah, by sacrificing the food creatures. The food tokens.
Oh, that's what you mean, yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not necessary to run Bob inside, but just to name a few, we had Hogak. There were some Hogak combinations that ran the Bazaar. These days, people do not really play the card. At least in Hogak, there was Riel that played Bazaar. Riel is more or less not played anymore. Then now there's Asmo. I'm currently running another deck, which I won't spoiler, that's running Bob as well. So what I want to say is that the card is more and more relevant, and it fits in a few decks. It serves a lot of synergies. So it's not necessary to play it, and it's not game changing, but it should be. I mean, is it less influencing than Time Twister? I don't think so. Nowadays, you could argue with Narset and Hullbreacher and stuff that it might be relevant to not have, or it might be relevant to get rid of Time Twister. But I think the same is true for Bazaar, especially because it's way more relevant in comparison to Time Twister. And although the I'm not sure about that one, but I think like it's there's only one print in Arabian Nights, and I think the print one compared to Time Twister, okay, Time Twister had 4 prints. Is that correct? 5? Alpha, Beta, Unlimited, IE, CE, if that's legal.
Correct.
So,
but IEC is not tournament legal, so
exactly. So let's say Alpha,
Twister.
Beta, and Unlimited. I think with those 3 sets, the print run of Time Twister is 3 times higher than Bob.
That is not how maths works.
What?
All right, so Unlimited is called Unlimited because it had a much higher print run than Alpha and Beta.
There was okay.
And Alpha and Beta had a very small print run.
We can check
and
that. We can check
it
that.
Scales up much higher. So to buy a tournament legal copy of Time Twister, which is played, so very bad condition, you are looking at likely at least 5,000 euros on MKM. That was not the case when the card was banned, though. And to
let me
play a
let me
tournament legal copy of Bazaar, you're looking at 2,000 euros.
let me first change the
But
overlay.
Twister was around that price point when it was banned too. So
I think I've seen a Reddit article where a guy's approximately made the math on the overall print run of those cards. And prices are also connected to the demand, right? I don't know what's outside of Singleton, which is there's almost no demand, I would expect. Uh, which formats also use Bob to an extent that it has a serious impact on the market. Besides this nostalgic thingy and the speculation thingy.
okay.
You get my point? Yeah.
There was a comment 5 years ago on Reddit of a guy um that um so alpha, and this is my from what I heard, from what I remember as well. Alpha 1,000 of each rare, beta 3,000, unlimited 17,000 of each rare.
Okay, compared to Arabian Nights Prince.
Arabian Nights, 2,000 of each rare.
Yes.
So uncommons, not sure.
But Bazaar was a rare, right?
Bazaar is an uncommon.
Is an uncommon.
Yeah.
Oof. Okay. I didn't know that. Magic Nerd Karlsruhe. Hey Bernhard. Cheers. Let's
Arabian Nights print run from
just
2000.
a short thing about the matchup. It's quite interesting. So there's Asmo on the battlefield, and the Asmo player has Fury in hand with a pitch ready to roast Aminatou. So the Aminatou player has a hard time dealing with the board here.
Okay, so we've got maths from 2001 and
Oh, I smell a balance. There's a balance on hand already. This is going to be
we've
some
got
greedy magic. Seems that the Aminatou player
25%.
has.
25% of total cards from Arabian Nights being uncommons is what it's saying. So that's a 5 million. But I don't know how to. These numbers don't work out to the each number.
Oh, there's a moat. There's a demonic consultation. Seems that he took the godless shrine. And no. So the Aminatou player has 3 cards in hand. He needs to deal with the board, otherwise he's dead. There are the circling vultures again. There's an isolated chapel. And there's a rest in peace. Okay. Did you see an interaction here? No, that's great. So the circling vulture is dying
yes, because there's
he
no...
yeah, because he can't remove a creature.
Wait, from what I see here, there are no rares in Arabian Nights. There's only uncommons and commons, which means that there's 2,100 bazaars. Do you agree, Magic Nerd Card Score? No, you're saying
31,000. He's saying.
it's a little confusing.
So there's a treasure token for the Ragavan player.
Are you looking at? Is that looking at total number of? Wait, no. Yeah, no. That's. Can you send that to me somewhere else? It's being censored here. Maybe on Discord or something. Okay, we've got a rip and play. Aminatou's at 2. Do we see?
He got a good top deck. Asmo player has a good top deck.
He could
with
gamble
Ragavan.
for Fire Blast here if he plays Fire Blast.
No, he will not play that. I'm pretty sure, but he can just gamble for a bolt.
But he doesn't have. Oh, he can.
No, he just.
Oh, he has a treasure.
No, he will just gamble for Fiery Temper in any situation because.
True, because he can just. He either discards it to gamble or to the cookbook.
Exactly.
I think there's a lot more that goes into the pricing of cards. For example, but yes, that is quite likely. I'm not sure how much.
In which world? In which world is Jakub going for the lightning bolt? Okay.
I guess that's. Yeah, that doesn't seem quite right.
Yeah, but okay.
Does
I mean, it's
madness trigger with rest in peace?
yes, because you discard it directly into exile, I guess.
But does it still trigger there?
Yeah, it's like it doesn't touch the graveyard.
But are those numbers of uncommons, or are those numbers of back to basics, back to of Bizarre Baghdad itself? So you've got cards like the colored Moxen that aren't blue are at like a price point of like 2.5 to 3.5 grand. So Time Twister is more expensive than those cards, even though those cards are better cards in in a sense, and are also better in cards like in like formats like old school.
So we have the second round. It's 1-0 for Asmo. There wasn't much the Aminatou player could have done, I would say. And there's a Ragavan and a Wall of Omens. That's cool.
That's also a reason for Bazaar not being that expensive.
Interesting board again from the Asmo player. So there's nothing really going on here, right? Interesting that the Aminatou player lets the cookbook resolve. Kinky, are you still with me?
Yes, I'm trying to figure out how to interpret this data.
Let's do that at some other point.
Oh, no, you are correct, Bernhard. I've figured it out. Yes. You are in fact correct. It is 31,000 should be the print run of yep. Yep. So there's more bazaars than there is than there is time twisters. And time twister is a more desirable card because it's illegal in multiplayer. But still, 2,000 euros for a card should qualify it to be on the ban list of Duel Commander if you make that a criteria, like it has been made by the committee in the past. Then again, the committee that banned Time Twister, only 2 of the members of that committee are still that were members then are still on the committee. Is that right?
3.
3?
Yeah.
Has there been that little? There's 5, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Never mind. I guess they are just entirely inconsistent.
No, it's like 3 of the members that made that decision in the past are now in a committee, and there are 2 new guys.
Exactly, that's what I was.
Yeah, correct.
Implying. Oh my god. What is this intuition?
Don't get it either.
This is very confusing. Is that a winter orb? No, that's an Adaka waste.
Uh, uh, uh.
So, what are we looking at? in terms of play now? Do we know? We know one. We know 2 cards in hand. That was it's what's it called? The Orzhov Shockland, Godless Shrine,
Godless Shrine, yeah.
and we have a Hymn to Clear.
Not really sure if that's...
5 cards in hand.
What does that achieve? What does that achieve?
I mean, it spends mana.
Yeah, but...
I mean, it isn't that urgent. We've got a Faithless Looting and a Duretti. So if the Aminatou player is actually at 17, which I think he is, he isn't in that much of a pickle currently. But he just needs, to cast cards to get his way out. So he needs a board wipe or something. Got a Force of Negation being exiled, and a treasure. This is a discard spell. I think Asmo's in a very good spot here. No, maybe not. Very cool that they're playing out the final. Great to see.
Absolutely. Looks a bit stally, but...
I think it looks a bit like a judge call is being made right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Since he's put his hand down.
That's a demonic tutor.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, what could it be? There are a couple of choices.
I think a Thoughtseize is a reasonable pick right now.
Why not? Yeah, right. Getting some information and probably denying your opponent from it.
I think there's a lot you can kind of expect to take here.
Yep. Seems that players still have a lot of fun.
How are you discerning that?
Oh, what is happening? I was just about to say that the stream is working great. But
Never jinx it. Never jinx it.
Yep, exactly.
Not even in your mind.
So let's see if we get back. There we are. It's quite late for those guys. Late night magic. There's an out of time in the graveyard.
So,
and you said there should be a Thoughtseize, and that's the case, right? There's a Thoughtseize. He casted it. That was a good one.
See it on... Where is it?
It's beneath the demonic tutor in the graveyard.
Okay. I mean... This is the final match. We've watched Asmo. I think we watched his top 16 match and then his top 4 match.
Mm-hmm.
We played against Adeliz both times, 2 different players. And what was the middle game? The first game of the top 8?
Grenzo versus Yawgmoth.
Yep.
Was an interesting match to look at. I would have not expected the Yawgmoth player to win the game.
Yep.
Yawgmoth. So there is a fetch ongoing. The question is what? Oh, is there a balance coming in? Maybe. Do you think that's the case?
That would be a very good draw.
There's a DT that could be no. It's a talisman, right? It's talisman.
Okay.
Never mind.
I mean, this still doesn't seem that good. I mean, Aminatou likely dies to Asmo and
Creatures.
Putrid Imp
Yeah.
here. Oh, that's also a good draw.
Oh yeah, baby. There's a Croxa? No, it's a Daretti in graveyard. That's the attack? Not getting a Ragavan token? That seems to be wrong.
I mean, it maximizes the damage, right?
Yeah, but also not getting rid of Aminatou is a bit
Well,
weird.
no, it does, because Putrid Imp
is big?
Threshold is active.
Yeah, he has threshold. Okay. Yeah, no, he activates threshold. Okay.
Which I think is a reasonable play to take him to do as much damage as he can to the opponent, considering that next turn at least he has a board wipe that he can go get.
Yeah.
He could have used one of his treasures to play the Inquisition, right? But I think he knew about a land? Not sure.
Does he have any treasures left? Yeah, it looks like. That's pretty
one
much.
by his hand. Yeah.
That's pretty much it. I mean, also if you yeah, you would probably not search for a balance, maybe just a board wipe, because you're really behind if you get rid of your lands as a control deck.
Exactly. And I mean, also activating the Wish Claw is very difficult right now because
Of course.
yeah,
you give your opponent free bolts.
Yep. Okay, we see an activation. Is there anything better that we could see? Maybe a parallax wave?
Oh, is that necessarily better?
Because you can play Aminatou next turn and flicker it. Ooh! Did you see the card that's there right now?
No.
He just passed a moat.
Ah. That's smart. That's very smart because there's, except the Patridum, there's not a single card that can handle the moat. But I'll tell you something. He will have to tap 4 mana for the moat. The moat is on battlefield. The Patridum has flying, so he will fly. And then there's a talisman activation for a bolt.
Yep.
And the Aminatou player will probably cry. Does that make sense?
Did he get the mod?
Absolutely. I don't know. It's a dam. Oh, that's boring. But okay.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if Asmo plays Fiery Confluence. If he does,
No.
or Territorial Hellcat might
No.
also be in the deck.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
I mean, we're looking at an aggro version of the deck. You don't know the list, but so
Yeah, but usually you don't curve out into 4-drops. Although you have your cycle cards that act as cantrips and stuff. Bone Crusher in Fame would be a line, yes. But he would have to need 5 mana, so he fetches right now, right? But that would be it.
the Fame gives haste, right? So he could just have
and
some
plus
random
2/0.
Yeah, so some random plus some random 2-power 3-power creature wins the game. Yeah. He's currently fetching, but so he's probably thinking of a line while fetching. But we've also got a frozen screen, do we?
Yep.
His hand is still in the air. So I think there's lots of lines that do it here.
There's a Blood Moon with a nice smiley. Blood Moon is actually very, very unfortunate.
I'm very confused right now. Like, sure? Wait, where's the treasure?
Gone?
To do what?
Yeah. Probably it was just laying around there. He didn't really have a treasure. I don't know.
That might be. Oh, that. Does he have any 3-power? He has the vultures. Would have done it, right? He can play the 1 mana 3/2 vulture
Right. Yeah.
with
Yeah.
the.
Yeah. Correct. Or any other, like you could have also played a Dragon Rage channel is also a 3/3.
That's true.
I'm pretty sure he has Delirium active.
Likely. Yep.
So he has white, he has black. And now there is a rest in peace. And now you might have a problem. Because the Aminatou player can come up with a random helm. Or even worse, if he has an artifact tutor in hand, like an enlightened tutor. So now if he has an enlightened tutor in upkeep, he does not. There's an island. An island is great.
Okay, this is. Well, this isn't quite game over because Aminatou costs 5, but Aminatou can flicker the Wish Claw. Wow.
He can get Daily Relic for the Bone Crusher, I guess. Or just get
Lethal.
Ooh. I mean,
He can just play Aminatou, flicker the Wish Claw, and make the opponent have it? Or
I
did he
think
just pass
it's
the turn? No. Okay.
that's not the line. Yeah, I wouldn't do that either. But on the
What?
other hand,
He's drawn a card and put
yeah,
it.
that doesn't make a lot of sense.
What's going on here?
That doesn't make a lot of sense because Aminatou is going to die anyways, and he hasn't achieved anything here.
I mean, let's see what he still has in hand. But he just
that's the Ravager.
Okay.
So that's a 2-0 for Jakub. Amazing. Congratulations, Jakub.
Yes, congratulations.
That's great.
Even if we're a bit harsh sometimes when we talk about our line, when we talk about possible lines,
Yeah,
we don't mean it.
Yeah,
just...
I think he knows that. I think he knows that.
Yes.
I mean, they know us a bit better, and those guys have played 7, 8, 9 rounds already.
Yep.
And it's 10:30. I've played Magic since 10 in the morning, so for 12 hours. They are allowed to make mistakes, and now they're heavily debating on the misplays probably the Aminatou player did. Yeah, I think he forgot about their Wishclaw talisman, and people are like, "What are you doing with the talisman?"